Buenas noches. Good evening. It's really a pleasure to be here with you tonight in this presentation of this magnificent book that was put together thanks to the help of the National Autonomous University of Mexico and the National Endowment for the Arts, which collected short stories from 16 of Mexico's best fiction writers born after 1945. So we think that this is a great opportunity for many of you to know more about Mexican writers that are many of them alive, and fortunately that they have contributed a lot to this kind of narrative of fiction that it's a wonderful expression of Mexican literature. We have the honor to have with us Álvaro Uribe, as you know, author and the editor of this magnificent book, and also Cristina Rivera Garza, that he traveled from San Diego to be here with us. And I think that both of them are examples of this new generation of writers in Mexico that goes beyond the traditional and the other authors that you may know, Octavio Paz, Juan Rulfo, that was one of the greatest in Mexico, and many others. But I think that this splendid book is an example of how Mexican writers are adapting to this new century. And they are contributing precisely to this particular narrative that is very creative in many ways. So I think that we will hear tonight a part of this richness of Mexican writers that have captivated many audiences, not only in Mexico but also here in the United States. So I don't want to take more time, just to thank here the Center for Translator. I need a translator here. The Center for the Art of Translation. I think that this is a tremendous effort. I want to express our recognition and our thanks. And just a brief commercial. It's very safe to go to Mexico, don't worry. Fortunately, we overcome that situation thanks to all the friends of Mexico that expressed their solidarity with us in a particular time. But fortunately, I think that working together is how we are going to overcome any kind of situation. We think that we are part of a family, Mexico and California family, particularly here in the Bay Area. I think that we are part of this diverse community. So thank you very much and enjoy the evening.
They have a beautiful consulate, and it has an absolutely gorgeous art gallery in it. So if you ever have the opportunity to go to an event there, I urge you to do so, because it's really a treat. Tonight we are celebrating the best of contemporary Mexican fiction, and we're going to hear from the editor as well as from some of the translators and one of the authors.
Not a complete book, just 15 stories in a certain order, in a logical order, and I had to do everything with these stories. They had to be translated, they had to be put on the page, and we didn't even have a title for the book. So I had to find the title. The title I invented for the American book published by Biblical in Mexico is Lo que cuenta el vecino. Cuenta and cuento are the same root. Cuento means short story. Cuenta is to tell a tale. So, and the neighbor for us in Mexico, when we say the neighbor, we immediately think about you Americans. You are the neighbor of the country, you are our neighbors.
El día que se lo presentó en la plancha de la funeraria, ya conservado, arreglado y con el traje puesto, a la señora Marta le pareció que Pablo sería esplendoroso. Llenaba el traje por completo. Hasta se le habían arrestado algunas arrugas del rostro. Ignacio le preguntó en qué cripta le quería guardar, o se lo fijaron de hablar. Y después de muchas cavilaciones, la señora Marta decidió que mejor lo sentaría en su cuarto de costura. Tan bien que se veía, tan guapo, propio y arreglado. ¿Cómo no terminará encerrado en una caja, como si fuera un bombón, una galleta. Primero le comentó a Ignacio que lo quería poner en la sala, frente a la televisión, como siempre estaba, pero Ignacio se asustó.
The day he appeared on the slab at the funeral home, all ready to serve, dressed up in his suit, it seemed to Señora Marta that Pablo looked splendid. He completely filled out his suit, and some of the wrinkles on his face had even been smoothed out. Ignacio asked her in which trip she was thinking, or whether she was thinking of burying him. And after much vacillating, Señora Marta decided that it would be best to see in her sewing room. He looked so handsome, proper, and well-groomed. How could he possibly end up in a box? As if he were a piece of candy or a cookie.
You could tell by the puddles the dogs lapped from, and the string of carts parked on one side of the sidewalk, that public ordinances were few and far between, and that the police rarely handed out fines. Soon, dust shadows made it hard for him to see much more. He turned on his headlights and kept creeping along at the same speed, until he pulled to a stop in front of a building with vague colonial influences, with a tiled roof and whitewashed walls. When he pulled on the handbrake, he realized that before him stood the purpose of his trip, for rent.